Hi, it's Melina here. I want to talk today about something not related to physical health, which is what I usually talk about. Um, but it's related more to your energy body, which is a whole other subject that I can go off on, right? But most of you are aware that we have more than one body. It's the physical body, emotional body, mental body, and spiritual body. And we have all of these. They're not all seen in this 3D world, but they're all felt on some level. Even if you're not very sensitive, you feel them. So sometimes there's a need to use a really important and easy self-care tool. It's called grounding. And grounding helps you feel centered, and it helps you feel like you're in your body, and you're actually pulling your energy closer down to the earth rather than being up here and all spacey. It helps to make sure that you're present and feeling strong and well. So sometimes this is important when we're either like really overwhelmed or going through a stressful time in our lives, or there's certain cosmic events going on. Right now there's a full moon happening tomorrow morning, but that energy is actually here 2 to 3 days prior to the full moon and afterwards. So full moon isn't just the day of the full moon. It's a decent chunk of time out of each month. And that energy from the full moon can cause people who are already having a difficult time, or people who are highly sensitive like me, just to feel more intensely and to kind of feel not so in my body and not so at ease and peaceful. So there's a few things that I like to use, my favorite tools to ground, and I want to share those with you. They're pretty simple, and really anyone can do them almost anywhere at any time. And the first one is probably the most common one, which is rooting into the earth, which is you literally just stand or sit and or lay down, and you imagine roots coming from your body down into the earth and growing, and as you breathe, you imagine these roots growing down into the earth and pushing and moving around and growing deeper. And then when you breathe that's when you breathe out. And when you breathe in, you can either just breathe in, or you can imagine yourself breathing in the energy from the earth. So it's like this give and take. So you breathe in the earth energy and then breathe out deep down into the earth. And you can just continue doing this. I like to do it at least for about 5 minutes. I don't time myself, but usually it ends up being around that. And it does do a good amount of help. It helps a lot just in a few minutes. So that's like the more basic one that I like to do. And to even just expand on that a tiny bit is the medical medium, who is somebody I talk a lot about in my videos. He suggests doing a practice like this, the earth breathing with rooting into the ground, but also when you're done, actually envisioning you breaking off those roots as you move from that space, and knowing, that you can go back to those roots, that those are still in the ground, that those are still rooted, and that part of you is still rooted as well. So that's just like an additional thing you could do as well if you'd like. Another simple grounding technique is imagining a column of light that comes from your root, or basically like your pelvic floor, your pelvic area. And it's probably in circumference, like it should be like at least as large around as you are. And this column of light will go from you down into the core of the earth. And so you're envisioning this huge, long column of bright light that goes down into the core, and you breathe out again down into the earth, but you're imagining this column, okay? And when you breathe in, you imagine yourself breathing in from your pelvic floor down here, and then all the way up to your crown. So you breathe down into the earth, the column of light, and then when you breathe in from your root chakra all the way up to your crown, and then down again through those, that same column in your body, but then continue to go down into the earth. So that's like much longer channel when you're breathing down. And you breathe it back in, from your root to your crown, and then back down again from your crown, through the root, down through the cone of light again, and just to continue this process as long as feels right. And this is something else that I do quite often, and along with that, I often envision stuff leaving me, whatever's not serving me, whatever's just holding me back or just isn't helpful. So oftentimes I'll literally imagine just stuff floating down and being pulled down into the core of the earth. So that's another technique. And then lastly, the third thing is lower dantian breathing. And your lower dantian is this area that's basically behind your belly button in like a center of you. And so it's like, just imagine the space like a couple inches behind your belly button, in the center of your body, your core. And this is your lower dantian area. And this area can hold a lot of energy. So if you ever feel overwhelmed, like there's too much going on, it's a really good space to focus on and breathe in and out of. You just breathe in and out of that space and really focus on it. I find you can do it with your eyes open, but I find it's much easier with my eyes closed. Just seeing and feeling and sensing that space and breathing in and out. And this is another really simple but really beneficial and effective grounding technique. This also helps you process things that are going on. If you're having a difficult time, there's a lot of upheaval in your life, and you just sense a lot of energy around you, breathing into your lower dantian can really help smooth things out. I like to do that when laying down the most, or like in a bath, an Epsom salt bath. That's really, really helpful and awesomely powerful. So those are 3 tips that I just wanted to share because, like I said, the full moon energy is here for the March full moon, and I found myself needing to use these tools earlier this morning, and I thought, you know what, I'm sure there's other people out there who could benefit from them. So if you haven't tried it out, try it out. If you have tried it out, hopefully it's a great reminder or there's some new ways to go about it. Anyway, take care. Happy full moon.